July had some of my most anticipated movies of the year. I saw 14 brand new releases. We're going to talk about them and rank them. Let's do it. What's up, Flick fans? We got everything this month. Blockbusters, small releases, Smurfs. God. I need your thoughts down below. What did I miss? What did you love? What's your most anticipated movie of August? But right now, we've got to talk July. Oh, God. Please.
Everyone, listen to me. Your lives are in terrible danger. Smurf Village isn't safe anymore.
I don't want to relive this. Please don't make me relive this. I just don't want to talk about it. I did like a mini review on Smurfs. It didn't even warrant me using my actual camera. Like, this is the kind of movie you just don't want to put any effort into reviewing because they didn't put any effort into the script. Austin, it's a family film. Why you gotta be so harsh, man? Are you serious?
Liar!
First of all, not a family film. There's a distinction. It's a kids movie, a movie for children. Now, I've seen movies for children that work extremely well and don't make our children dumber. Smurfs will make them dumber. I can almost guarantee it. This is one of those movies like, I don't want my daughter anywhere near this. Near, not quite there, but close to the Emoji Movie. I mean, it's not only the substituting words for the word Smurf. We're Smurfing here, Smurfing there. I just took a big Smurf in the toilet.
Ew! What the fuck?
It's John Goodman sleepwalking. Nick Offerman did not want to be there. Rihanna is Smurfette. It's all over the posters. And, I mean, she's a great singer. You should probably stick to that. I think the idea of what they were doing with James Corden's character, by the way, yeah, he's in this movie too. So there's another notch. I thought that could have been something. Like this Smurf that doesn't belong, he needs to find himself. But they get away from that almost immediately and go on this ridiculous adventure that I did not care about. What happened to the OG Smurfs that we knew and loved? Well, they're dead. Long live whatever the hell this is. Spent too much time on that. Smurfs is going on the Smurfing awful tier.
I am recording this. Fair warning. Is that really necessary? Look, Joe, 6 feet.
I usually like to transition these, but it's a hard pivot. We're going from Smurfs to Eddington. Ari Aster's COVID No Country for Old Men attempt here. So no transition there whatsoever. Listen, I was excited for this. There was a part of me, now I didn't actually do it, but early in the year, I'm like, should I put it in my best picture 10? And I know Ari Aster hasn't gotten there. I believe the quality of his work has been there in the past, but the last 2 movies haven't quite been on that level. And so I'm thinking, Eddington, not quite there, but is it at least trying to say something interesting? And I do believe there are parts of this movie that I absolutely love. This dude is such a good visual filmmaker. And you're getting this awesome, thrilling action sequence. This movie escalates so fast. It's like an episode of the regular show. You're going from something that's like political, do we mask up, all the things that we were dealing with in COVID. I'm like, all right, I don't know what it's trying to say. Emma Stone, Austin Butler's character, I'm like, I don't really care about any of this. And then it gets riveting. And then it picks up and gets to the point to where that last act of the film, I'm thinking that could have been amazing. And so it's really a movie that has an identity crisis through and through. The script itself is a bit of a mess. I just got to be honest. And so Eddington, I'm going to put it on the okay tier. There's enough there to latch on. I Know What You Did Last Summer.
I know what you did last summer.
I love that song. I play it every time.
A check.
Another one, if you're looking for my review, I did a YouTube short. This is one of those movies that I had little to no connection to the original. Now, I like the original characters. I actually like what they do. I like the performances. We'll say that. I like Freddie Prinze Jr. Like, they're coming in, they're playing the part well, the performances are good. I don't think the writing ultimately served them well. I think it's just kind of early on in the film it worked. That being said, the new cast, I actually think the performances are okay, but the dialogue is atrocious. Like, there's nothing to chew on with these characters. It's a bunch of stereotypes that we've seen 1,000 times, nothing interesting within the way that they act. Their dynamic was just bleh. And when the characters start dying, I'm thinking, I don't really care. It's entertaining, and the fisherman's got some nice kills here and there, but there are also times where I'm thinking, dude, you suck. How did you not kill that person? They're standing right in front, and it happens 3 times in the movie. I'm thinking that's not what you want in a horror slasher.
You're lame!
And so it felt like a satire at points. I don't know if it was trying to be that. That's not a good sign. I Know What You Did Last Summer is unfortunately going on the bad tier for me. It did not know what I wanted.
I love you.
All right, not a great tier list so far. Let's see if we can elevate it here a little bit. A movie like Together is absolutely going to do that. Original, scary, body horror, something that I was looking forward to ever since the first word got out, the initial festival run that it had. Fellow YouTubers, I'm watching Cody Leach's review, I'm thinking, this sounds interesting. I love the fact that I don't know where it's going, or really how all of this comes together to start with, but I am intrigued. And so let's see where this goes. And it's awesome, man. I think the chemistry, Dave Franco, Allison Brie, obviously together in real life, that helps. That really helps. You buy this relationship. Even if all of this madness wasn't going on, I would have had fun with this couple. I mean, they're going through it as a couple, but I like their sense of humor. It's kind of dry. It's a little silly. They are awesome together. And then it goes down. Full body horror, psychological horror thriller. It is so cool the way they go about this, and I loved every bit of it, except for, like, the final scene, that final frame. I still don't know how to feel about that. So the plane, it was a bumpy landing, but ultimately it landed. I had a great time. Got to keep this couple together and try to scoot them on up to the great tier. There we go. Next up, we have a Netflix zombie movie from Thailand. This is Ziam. I wanted to do a review. I got to this a bit late, so it was a little late for that. But ultimately, I really wanted to enjoy this. I think some of the practical effects are great. I like the setting, how we're kind of staying in one location here. Battling the zombie outbreak in a hospital. This guy is trying to save his girlfriend, and it goes from like a really cliche, bad dialogue medical drama to a full-on zombie outbreak. No one knows what they're in for. It's just another day in, what's the opposite of paradise? I hate hospitals, man. I do. Listen, there is a lot here to like visually. Again, I do think the zombie sequences are fun to watch. There's some great practical effects on display. Unfortunately, the filmmaking just doesn't capture a lot of it very well. And then you've got the dialogue, and I could not stand the script for this movie. The way that everyone talks to each other is just like, hello, how are you doing today? I am going to go save this person. And I'm not even talking about the dubbing, because I watched the subtitled version. It was just a bad script. I don't think the acting was bad. It's just an atrocious script. So fun, but really poorly written. I'm going Ziam on the bad tier, unfortunately.
I'm leaving without you, and I won't be coming back.
Wait a minute, does that mean you're leaving me? That this is it?
Next up, a movie called Brick, where a couple's apartment is all of a sudden surrounded by a brick wall. I thought immediately escape room. This is going to be reminiscent of that. It's a Netflix movie. I think it's still on the trending page, and this is a really unique idea. And this couple who's going back and forth, Matthias Schweighöfer, he's a good actor. He's in a lot of these Netflix projects. Rubio Fee is in this project. And this couple, they are trying their best to figure out, why are we in this situation? How the heck do we get out? But they're also dealing with the issues between them. And that's kind of where this movie starts to focus as they move their way through apartment rooms, and they go down and sideways. And then ultimately, we discover, what is this wall? That's kind of reminiscent of the cube from Transformers. Again, reminded me of Escape Room. I was very intrigued by the plot. It's yet another movie that has such poorly written characters, and they try their best to focus on, okay, how do we get here? What's the trauma of our past that's putting us in this situation? But ultimately, all of these aspects are shortchanged by the end of the film. And then the end of the film, I'm just like, oh, okay. There's nothing about this resolution that I really cared about. I'm going to be a jerk here. I'm going to put Brick on the bad tier.
How are you doing?
I'm at peace.
Didn't look that peaceful when you were throwing that guy out the window.
So I didn't plan it like this. I guess I'm getting all the crap out of the way first. July was a rough month in terms of streaming, and we've got yet another Netflix project, The Old Guard 2, with Charlize Theron, Chiwetel Ejiofor. I mean, the returning cast, some new cast members. It doesn't really matter. This is one of the worst, most pointless sequels I have ever seen.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
Now, you know what? It sucks. It's a horrible film. And I wanted to love it because I thought the first Old Guard had some moments and some ideas and some characteristics that shine through. And I'm like, this is a cool concept. These immortal beings, except you have one who's lost her immortality. And so how does that carry forward in a sequel? And now you've got a new threat that's coming about. And how are we going to fix this? How are we going to fight? If I'm not immortal any longer, there's a new character. So a lot of things here that were interesting in the beginning, and it just goes nowhere, man. That opening action sequence kind of set up the kind of movie that we were in for, and it was bad. I'm just like, I don't remember that from the first. They do nothing with Edgy 4, it goes nowhere, and the ending is atrocious. I'm not going to say what happens, because nothing happens. It's just a cliffhanger for the next film, but not in a Spider-Verse kind of way, in whatever the opposite of that. Don't watch it. This movie blows. It's Smurfing awful.
Mr. Prime Minister. Mr. President. It's our debut duet. Duet. Yeah, it's like I'm Dr. Dre and you're Eminem, and we're taking that stage for the first time together. I'm Eminem.
Heads of State. Idris Elba, John Cena. John Cena plays the president, and he's going and meeting one of the heads overseas, and that's Idris Elba, and they're having this big meeting, and there's a council, and it's so dumb. It's so dumb, but it's actually kind of fun. And as I'm watching this film, like, this has no right to be as entertaining as it is. I think Idris Elba and John Cena together, and we saw it in Suicide Squad, they are electric together. And they're taking this script full of dialogue that could have been atrocious in another movie, and they make it entertaining. Got some cameos along the way. Jack Quaid, Priyanka Chopra Jonas, she's really good. I like her in an action setting. I really enjoy her up against these two, or kind of with these two. But ultimately, where this story goes was a lot more entertaining than I was expecting. I'm not saying it was engaging. I'm not saying, ultimately it is a dumb movie, but it's dumb fun. And they have likable characters. This is very reminiscent of a 90s throwback action movie where you take two of the biggest stars on planet Earth, you pair them up, and you say, you know what, you guys, go have fun together. And they have a lot of fun. And it's thoroughly entertaining. And I really enjoyed my time. And I have so many nitpicks along the way, but as soon as we run into Jack Quaid, I'm like, no, actually, I'm having a good time. You know what? I was going to put it on the okay tier because in reality, it's an okay movie. But because I'm championing it as such a throwback, fun action flick that doesn't take itself too seriously, I'm going to put it on the good tier because I'm a psychopath.
30 years ago, I decided to give golf a try. But even when you're at the top of your game...
Speaking of a throwback 90s movie, see, that's the transition I'm talking about, even though I should have paired this up with the Netflix movies. Regardless, Happy Gilmore 2. I wanted Happy Gilmore 2 to be a hit. I wanted it to work. I wanted to laugh. And I giggled. I chuckled. There were moments that I loved. I actually really appreciate what they did with Happy. He's going through it, obviously, with the first 5 minutes. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe they did that. Some people hated that choice. I do not blame them whatsoever. But we're dealing with sobriety. We're dealing with trying to raise a family with 4 kids that all act the exact same, and there's nothing interesting about them. But then one daughter that he's trying to send to some kind of like ballet or something. I don't know. But he's got to raise money, gets back into golf, and meets the 70-something cameos, I'm exaggerating, along the way. Your Travis Kelce's, all of your golfers, your ESPN personalities, your WNBA players. It's just like, it keeps going and it keeps going. And every time we do it, which is, don't get me wrong, there were some moments that were fun and funny, but it would happen. And the best example here is Eminem. All right, Eminem's in this movie, makes a cameo. It's all over the internet. If you didn't want to know that, who cares? He's in this movie. That is one of the dumbest scenes I have seen in so long. It completely took me out of the film. It was so distracting. The dialogue was atrocious, and it was an unfunny bit that lasted like 3 minutes. And I'm thinking, this happened like 4 times already, and I'm getting a little frustrated.
What the fuck is this?
Because this movie did have something to offer in the beginning, and it just goes off track, and then this big golf tournament, one of the Safdie brothers, one of my least favorite characters in the movie, and how often do you say that? It just goes completely off course and struck out. Now, that's baseball. It wasn't up to par. And they say in the first movie, you've got to tap it in. Well, this movie opts to go for the big swing, and you have to tap it in, Happy. You've got to tap it in. You didn't tap in the sequel. It was a miss, albeit I didn't hate it as much as some of my friends. So that's something.
I need to ask you a few questions. Maybe you can help me get to the bottom of what happened. Can you do that for me?
This is a film, an on-demand movie that I watched, and I had no intention of enjoying or liking. I didn't know what it was. I rented it and said, all right, let's see what happens. And it was good. This is a good movie. I don't know why this isn't being talked about. I don't know why more people weren't. A couple of you all asked, Austin, have you watched Sovereign? But not a lot. And I'm thinking, why did this movie fly so far under the radar? It's getting good reception. Nick Offerman is absolutely fantastic. That dynamic with Jacob Tremblay. I understand why we spent so much time with Dennis Quaid's character ultimately, but I do feel as if that story, it feels shortchanged in the long run, even though it does all come together by the end of the film, and they set you up in a beautiful way. And it is a movie that moves slowly. Father-son duo, anti-government extremists, they find themselves in a standoff with the chief of police that sets off one big giant manhunt. And this poor boy, man, Jacob Tremblay's character, all he wants to do is live his life, go to school, but his father is so swept up in this idea. And there are ideas within what he's trying to say that do make a little bit of sense. I'm not saying all the crazy stuff, but there are moments where I'm like, yeah, this guy just wants to be by himself, doesn't want anyone bothering him, doesn't want to be underneath the confines of the government. I get that, but he pushes it to the extreme and starts talking crazy with his driver's license, with his gun, like all kinds of stuff. And you're thinking, this kid, this is basically child abuse. That's what's happening here. And there's a heartbreaking scene towards the end of this film that was devastating to watch. And then another one, a handful. This is not a happy movie whatsoever. My God, it's tragic ultimately. And I understand it. It's a hard one to market. I get that. But I thought it was really well made, good quality. It's going to crush you in the long run, but sometimes that's what a movie needs to do. And this is the exact kind of movie that does that. I was kind of floored by this film, and I had plans putting it on the good tier, but the more I talk about it, I'm going great tier, and I'm moving it up my letterbox list.
Do you miss me, even though you're married?
So grown up.
It's so grown up.
School was like, grad school was,
Ava Victor directed Sorry Baby, an A24 movie that I knew nothing about. I saw the trailer and I thought, this character gets a cat. What is this movie? And then you watch it. Our lead character goes through this very traumatic event. And you don't even see it at the beginning of the movie, but that's what shapes this film to start with. From the timeline, to the way it approaches everything, to the editing, it really puts you in the shoes of these characters. Agnes, our lead, and then Naomi Ackie's character, who was absolutely awesome. You've also got performances from John Carroll Lynch for like half a second. Lucas Hedges plays a great role. And all of these characters, and one very quirky side character that I ended up loving the presence of, even though she was very annoying, but a quirky sense of humor. It is handling this traumatic event with dry humor. It is so tonally stable, meaning it keeps the exact same tone and vibe all throughout. This is top tier direction. And I believe it's a first feature. I believe this is one of those that no one expected to be this good. I think it premiered at, people said Sundance, I believe, and everyone was raving about it. But it was phenomenal, and I really love the script here. I want this to get an Oscar nomination. I had to search for this movie. It's not going to every theater. I don't know what the release strategy is all about, but at the same time, it's one of those films I believe word of mouth could ultimately carry it to a potential screenplay nod. The screenplay is so good, man. Proper tone all throughout. Never changes pace, never shifts gears. I loved all of the dynamics and relationships. And then you get that moment that's just like, I cannot believe this character just went through that. I can't believe I'm doing this because of the type of movie that it is, but it's just so well made, man. I have to put it on the awesome tier.
Dr. Henry Loomis, this is Zora Bennett. I'm a mission specialist.
Sorry, what mission?
Final stretch, here we go. Jurassic World Rebirth. I wanted to love this. I wanted to love it. Ultimately, it fell so short of my expectations. And I've seen a lot of people praise it, and people are like, oh, Austin, it's going to make, it's getting close to $1 billion at the box office. And you don't love it, guys. Transformers, directed by Michael Bay. And anything with Jurassic in the title is going to make money. That is a fact. That is a statement. It doesn't matter the quality of these movies. The Michael Bay Transformers movies started strong. They turn atrocious, still made money. Doesn't matter. Jurassic Park hasn't had a really strong film in a long time. Doesn't matter. Still makes money. It's one of those things. People are going to show up for dinosaurs. Or they're going to show up for the Odyssey. It's one or the other. It's the trailer or the movie itself. Regardless, I really wanted more from these characters. I think the idea behind the family was great, even though the execution wasn't quite there. And then the execution of the mercenaries, or whatever they were, Scarlett Johansson, Mahershala Ali, was a little better than the idea of bringing them in. It felt like they wanted to do the Jurassic World thing that they've been doing with those characters and have the big name actors. But then we wanted to throw us back to Jurassic Park 3 with the family and something that's a little smaller scale. And this movie is smaller scale until it's not. One thing I will say is, obviously, Gareth Edwards, he does a great job with handling scale, the big creatures. It felt like he wanted to make a lower budget horror movie towards the end of the movie. And I'm like, this is what I was waiting on. Even though these dinosaurs are so unmemorable overall, except for like the river sequence. That was great. Won't say what it was. But then you've got this third act that's really entertaining and exciting, but I don't care about this dinosaur. Not only did it not live up to the hype, but I don't even think this one got to good. I can't even put it on the okay tier. I'm going meh for Jurassic World Rebirth.
Are you being serious right now?
Yeah.
You'd let me interview you as Superman.
Sure.
It's time to balance things out. Let's start with Superman. This was really, really fun. And I think that's what James Gunn was intending on us saying walking out of the theater. I want to have fun with Superman. I want to feel the way that we've wanted to feel since. And again, I love me some Man of Steel. I still kind of prefer Man of Steel. I know that's crazy.
You what?
But I've only seen Superman. I've got to see it again. And I got to keep seeing it because I've had so many years to let these other projects marinate. And with a new version, such a new version, that throws you into this comic booky world and has all of these Justice League, well, they're not called the Justice League yet, all of these Justice League characters already there, and you're thrown in and boom, here we go. We're off on this rousing adventure. But all of these puzzle pieces are so good in this movie. The score, rousing, it's a great throwback. Not my favorite of the summer. One of my favorites, not my pure favorite, but the score is great. The cinematography wasn't as bad as, I saw that first trailer and I'm thinking color grading is weird, cinematography is different. The cinematography was fine. I thought it was rock solid. The color grading, way better than what that first trailer had. I'm pretty sure they changed some things and heard the complaints. I had people tell me, Austin, see, it wasn't that bad. I'm like, they changed it. That's not the thing that I first saw. Anyway, it did a nice job of bringing together all we wanted to see from Superman. And I am a huge fan of Corn Sweat as this character. I'm a huge fan of Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. I think that could only get better. Rachel Brosnahan is the best Lois Lane I've ever seen. She is the best. She is perfect.
It was perfect.
For this character. And I knew she would be that after watching Mrs. Maisel, but she absolutely crushed it. And I love the relationship with his earthly parents. I've talked too much. I'm going to put Superman on the great tier. I had to think about it. Well, not really. Ho, 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 ho. Ho, 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 ho. Ho, 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 ho.
Wow, folks, we all know the story. 4 brave astronauts head off into space.
I just hear Fantastic Four, the rousing music and Giacchino's score. Oh my God, it's so good. That's my favorite score of the summer. It's Fantastic Four, F1, Superman. We've had some bangers. You throw in Sinners from earlier this year, some absolute bangers. What a score all the way through. My big complaint with Fantastic Four is that it moves too quick. They're fitting way too much into an under 2 hours movie. It should have been longer. That's okay. Ultimately, you get a lot of great moments with these characters. I loved this family. I loved them. And I'm in between kids. I've got a 2-year-old and we've got another one on the way. And then you give me a story about Galactus trying to take the baby and they're all fighting for the baby and Sue loves her child. And I'm thinking, y'all...
Where's the baby?
Of course I'm going to love that. What do you think? I'm some heartless slob? Don't answer that. Listen, this is one of those movies that just does everything I wanted them to do with these characters. It has class. This is a Marvel movie with class. How often can you say that? It is a great experience in IMAX, just top tier elite. I dread watching it in a smaller theater, not to see Galactus in his full glory and stare at his Galactus dong.
What? No.
I probably shouldn't have said that. I'm going to leave it in. I don't even care anymore. Silver Surfer is great. A couple of these side character side stories shortchanged. The Thing relationship, really the Thing in general. Evan Moss is a great actor. I wanted more from him in terms of action, in terms of development. I felt like a couple of stories got cut. And so the movie needed to be longer. 100%. That said, everything that hits really hard. And at least it's keeping you on the edge of your seat. Johnny learns another language for the love of God. I mean, there's so much cool in Fantastic Four. And I'm so happy they finally nailed these characters, man. Shut up, Austin. You keep talking. Let's put it on the great tier. All right, folks, let's start at the bottom, and it's a Smurfing great time. We're putting the Smurfs at the bottom because, they're Smurfing awful. Followed by the Old Guard 2, and then I gotta say, I Know What You Did Last Summer really frustrated me, as did Ziam, which I was excited to see. Zombie Madness, I didn't quite get that. Brick, we're gonna keep Brick on the top. It almost got to meh. On the meh tier, I am going to go Jurassic World Rebirth above, come on, there we go, that's better. Above Happy Gilmore 2, both of them big disappointments for me. Next up, obviously, Eddington, followed by one of the biggest, most ridiculous surprises of the year in Heads of State. On the great tier, this one's pretty tough. I'm going to go Sovereign on the bottom. In the fourth spot, I am going Together, which, again, thoroughly enjoyed, but I'm a big comic book movie guy, and we finally got some good comic book movies, some great ones, but I am going to go Fantastic Four, slightly above Superman. I just think it has a little more substance to it, but both of them are great movies. At the top, I have to say, Sorry Baby blew me away with its script. It's one of those movies you just kind of want to soak it in as you're watching. You find a lot to like with these characters. Circumstances aside, it is a very funny movie, and ultimately, it's super well directed. We could see some nominations there for sure. All of these films in the top 5, I was super happy with, along with a great surprise on the good tier. The rest of them, July, up and down for me, obviously. Some huge disappointments, some crap, absolute Smurfing crap, but ultimately, the ones that I truly wanted to deliver really delivered, and that's all we can ask for. All right, guys, I've talked long enough. When you see this video, I'll be on vacation, hopefully on a beach somewhere, or who knows where I'll be. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.